So we can take a few moments to rejoice to be in each other's presence. And we can think also to all the people we will join later, let's say, watching this video. Just taking a few moments to calm down the energies of the body. And to bring in mind our intention to be here and to cultivate mindfulness, awareness, wisdom. Why are we here? Last week I introduced the characteristic of non-self, which is called anatta in Pali language. And it is an invitation to look at our experience through that lens, which is our experience can be seen through the body, through the feelings, painful, not painful, neither playful nor pleasant, through our thought or imagination, what we can call the volitional formations, through consciousness, through perceptions. Those are the 5 aggregates of clinging. Clinging means considering them as me, mine, myself. And today I would like us to do a kind of practice. Well, to do a practice that uses this lens of non-self. And rather than seeing it from the intellectual point of view, like, yeah, she's right, she's wrong, we should look at things like that. This is not the proper way to look at things, our experience. It's more using it in meditation and see how it changes your experience. If there is if there is suffering that is a bit reduced through using that way of seeing, okay, and seeing all conditioned phenomena as this I am not, this is not mine, not myself. Can reduce a lot the sense of of self, of being a solid entity, I would say. And even at some point in a meditative investigation, using that way of seeing things might lead to a kind of fading of experience altogether. So this is interesting to see how clinging to things as being me, mine, myself, and how our experience fade, how those two things might be linked, and how awareness also being brought in that equation might fade as well. So it's possible that at some point, using that tool, you will even not know anymore anything, and it can be very, very scary. So it will be up to you to kind of change the dose of this way of looking at your experience, depending on what's comfortable for you. If there is too much fear arising, or also what could happen is that aversion comes up, so it can be so this way of seeing, it's better if it's not looked at, this is not me, not mine, not myself, like an intellectual ID that I put on everything. Okay, and then this is a complete rejection of the sense of self in experience. So if you see that aversion is coming through that practice, then you can bring metta or pause for a while. So we talked about the body last time, and that a way to see the bodies as not me, mine, and myself. And why is that? Well, if you have, yes, a simple intellectual inquiry, you can say, okay, I understand that my body is healing itself without me choosing it. It's just the beauty and intelligence of nature taking care of itself, I would say. If you have a wound, an injury, you cut your skin, well, it will heal itself. You will not say to your body, heal yourself. All right? Or, for example, a few years back, my body was just unable to digest food anymore. So I was very, very underweight. And because of that, because the body needs nutriments to go on. And because of that, all the organs started to dysfunction. And I couldn't say to my body, please digest food again. So what does it say? I say, yeah, please be healthy again. No. And this is also what the Buddha says in the sutta that I read last time. He said that if it was really me, or if there was a self inside the body, or if there was this kind of ownership over the body, then I could say to the body, please be that way. But even the breathing is doing itself. So of course, in daily life, we bring the body to some places or give instructions to change the postures. But overall, it has a life in itself, aliveness. The intelligence of all the cells also dying, recycling, fighting against viruses. And it's not just mechanical. Okay. It's kind of a lot of life in there. Also all the bacteria in your guts. So we can see it as a temple of life, I would say. And using this body is not mine, but let's say an image would be its nature itself, and it belongs to nature. It will go back to nature. And considering it that way, then we cannot just, we can consider it as sacred in a kind of way, and the responsibility to take care of it as good as we can. We are taking good care of nature. Okay. So same for feelings, painful. When we have painful feelings in the body, with a meditative mind, a calm mind, looking at what feeling tone is really. Is it me having pain and wanting to move it, or if I put my attention there, then without involving ownership of the pain, then how does it feel? How does it shape your experience? All right, the same with thoughts. Thoughts they have content, and they our inner speech talk about our past, our future, or what we can get through that body. And it's all sound very, very personal. This is my story, this is my future, this is my concerns. And depending on the content of the thoughts, either it's joyful or it's painful. And then we think, I'm joyful, I'm sad. And those feelings, those emotions, we take them for our emotions, right? So it keeps going on, feeding the thought patterns. But if we inquire a little bit and we say, today I'm gonna have only positive thoughts. Would that will really happen? Do we have that power on the arising of our thoughts? So if we are not very attentive, I would say that maybe we will just catch up the positive thoughts and then say, okay, I have that power. But if we are attentive to all our thoughts, you will see that sometimes there are conditioned phenomena, they arise without even you wanting them to arise, like memories pop up from the past. And this often we do not choose them. Otherwise we wouldn't choose the unpleasant memories to come up, right? Also the knowing of these memories. This is also not me, not mine. So we can do that with our own experience and also um, with what we think is our possessions. So this is mine, this belongs to me. It can be very simple, it can be clothes, it can be my phone. My home. Even about people like my daughter, my sister. We always use those way of categorizing things as mine or not mine, even for people, yes. So that there is a kind of belonging to a community. So this sense of self, why do we want to investigate it in more detail? Because often, when it's very, very present, very solidify as yes, as the self-identity, then usually there is also a sense of suffering with it. So it's interesting to investigate on the link between this sense of self suffering and how, when we can, through, as we say, with proper wisdom, the roots of this sense of self, or how, when it fades a bit, how suffering fades as well. So that was a kind of introduction to the practice that we are going to do. And then you will see by yourself the consequences, the results of that practice. This is a kind of practice that has to be renewed again and again, and that can be also done in daily life. But then I will talk about that after the practice, so we can take our meditation posture. So this practice can be done in any posture: sitting, standing, walking, lying down. So if you are in a sitting posture, you can keep your eyes open or closed as you feel comfortable. You can feel your pelvis on the cushion or on the chair, the feet on the floor, the spine erected, the top of the head. Take a deep breath. One can welcome the sensation of the whole body as it is right now. One can put our hands on top of each other, or in a mudra with the thumbs touching slightly. Closing the circuit, energetical circuit. We can feel our face, opening the space between the eyebrows, smoothing the forehead to the right and left, relaxing the muscles around the eyes, relaxing the jaws, putting a smile on our lips, going down to the neck, to the shoulders, melting down. The arms can rest on our lap. Can feel the chest, the belly, hips, the legs. The breath, moving the belly, swelling. Now, very slightly, we can feel the body and bring that way of looking at it. That's not mine. This is not me. It's just nature, aliveness. There is a felt sense of the body. Can I see it through this lens again? This I am not. This is not mine. This felt sense is not me. Just felt sense. One can spot a painful area in the body, an area that's calling for attention. We can put our attention there and see if it changes. When I consider it as not mine, not me. Just pain in the body, feeling sense, disagreeable. Thus cutting the stories around that pain. We can put our attention to the breathing. Breathing in the belly, the swelling of the belly. Breathing is happening by itself. We can find an area in the body which is agreeable. It can be the lips, the inner part of the elbow, the palm, very sensitive areas. This is not me, not mine, not myself. I cannot be found in those sensations. the knowing nature of those sensations. The awareness of it is not mine either. Some thoughts might arise. And their contents might be felt as very personal. How could it not be personal? But yet, can we invite this way of looking at them as phenomena arising and being known? Those thoughts are not mine. They come and go. They come and go on their own accord, depending on conditions. We can bring back our attention to the whole body and notice if there is any fading of experience, any fading or release of suffering. And if there is any fading of experience, then what's left? Is the heart feels soothed, more at ease? Or is there fear of not knowing anything? The body that is made up of earth element fire element, water element, wind element. Thoughts, feeling tones, sense consciousness and perceptions, meanings, imaginations coming and going on their own accord. Is the sense of me can step back a bit. So for the next few minutes I invite you to just take your time before opening your eyes again. Take your time really. Take your time to come out of this meditative state and to gently let the visual field enter again. So usually this is not the kind of practice that we like to do because of course it will shake our very own foundations, how we perceive ourselves, how we perceive the world, and it can be very, very scary. So most of the time people would go to this kind of practice and do not want to do it ever again. But then, yeah, it can be done very gradually. And over time, when we realize how much suffering can be released through that practice, or the kind of insight we can gain from the understanding of how clinging to things as me, mine, myself, and how the sense of self can also bring suffering, and how if it released in some degrees or totally, if really there is a kind of burden is put on the floor, then we will be more willing to do this kind of practice. Yes, this is developing wisdom, and I would say right view how to see our experience. So I told you that this can, so really it's very insightful if we can bring this practice in our daily life. So how to do that? So for example, if you see an image of yourself in the mirror in the morning, brushing the teeth, okay, I'm brushing the teeth. So there is this very felt sense of ownership of the body, or as a doer doing something, but you brush your teeth. And then you start, okay, there is seeing a reflection into the mirror. There is this strong sense of self, the believing that I'm seeing myself. But there is just sensing the brush, okay, in the mouth. And this is form, a shape that I see in the mirror. This shape is, I see it, there is sensations. And then you bring again this way of looking. Is this me? This I am not. It's sensations, it's feelings. It's kind of sense of warmth, of coolness, of brushing the earth element. You can bring also the 4-element practice in your experience and see how it goes. Especially, for example, if you are in a rush. If you are in a rush, this is the moment where you have to get ready, to have the nice clothes put on, or to do this and that, and then you just step back and look again back at your body as what it is. Where can I be found in that body? Do I own this body? Who is moving it around? Who has to do this and that in this during that day? So using anatta practice can be very, very liberating, and you can start to see how it shapes your experience in daily life. Or when you listen something and you enjoy it very much, you can also just step back and look at your experience as sounds coming in, delightful feeling associated to it, some meaning related to the lyrics. Who is listening? Who is enjoying? Where is the delightful feeling installed in the body? Or, for example, when it's in our modern times, we can spend a lot of time also with our devices, whose devices it is. So if my cell phone is broken, then what happens? Is this really mine? Or when we scroll on Facebook, for example, what are we looking for? Who wants gratification through the consumption of social media? And why? When you're driving or walking in the street, you can also say, okay, am I my body? Who's walking with the walker? So you can start to look for it inside your body, outside your body. And when your body is not working the way you would like it to be, then you can realize that there is no one who is in control of it. And then, so where does this sense of control on the body comes from? Can we find it? So those are questions that can help, can bring insight, some kind of this passion around the body. That doesn't mean that we do not no longer take care of it. So with the non-self and with suffering and impermanence, those are it's part of the, let's say, looking at these three characteristics. So again, non-self, suffering and impermanence of every conditioned phenomena can be quite liberating, actually. And this is an invitation to look at our experience through that way of seeing, and see what are the consequences for you in your life. So if you'd like to share about your experience or not, then it's open now for discussion. Or we can also just sit in silence for the next few minutes. It's up to you.